You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life feels lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me.
Welcome everybody to the Tony Trapasso Memorial Studio, just south of St. Louis, Missouri. But we are here at Atlanta Motor Speedway for the Racers Elite Superspeedway Series. I'm Alan Bergen, alongside me my partner, Colin McDonough. And Colin, we are in for a treat here tonight, as these guys are going to go 130 laps around the Superspeedway rendition of Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Alan, I'm looking forward to this. I'm a huge fan of the Gen 4 car, so I'm ready to buckle in and get going.
There's a lot of people are. These guys are definitely buckled in and ready to get going, as they are getting cranked up for qualifying right now. And right now, Kinsley Smith has the fastest time of the night right now with a 31.11. And just a little bit slower than him, but not by much, is Brandon Honeycutt. As we're gonna get down to the track side to see some of these guys qualify. One of the drivers being Truth Hoken at number 55, and we're gonna do this. There it goes.
What a fine-looking machine Truth Oak's got tonight.
Yeah, want to thank everybody for joining us here in the YouTube.com live chat. Is Jesse Fox is pulling in some fans right now, but Truth Oak right now on track with his first lap of qualifying.
Looks like Truth's trying to stay tight to that outside wall, even through the corners.
I mean, this is one of the, faster racetracks right now. Let's go over our race info here tonight as we are under a 72-degree ambient temperature with a 77% relative humidity. And it is 8-mile-an-hour wind. And the track temperature, well, it's about a degree warmer than ambient temperature, but not by much.
Yeah, they won't be shredding tires off too bad tonight.
No, especially going 130 laps. So right now, Greg McConey sets fast time with a 31.05. And we got about 6 minutes as Truth Hook goes third quickest, bumping Brandon Honeycutt down to fourth. Darius Thames has completed his qualifying lap.
And Alan, these qualifying times, this is a tight field. That top you got. Let's see who we got. Fifth to seventh is separated by, 0.02, not even.
Yeah, exactly. You're absolutely correct. Right now, and the drivers we got left to qualify is William Kinney, Jesse Fox going to go out there, and I see him back in the Racers Elite Series in some way, shape, or form, in that number 69 car. We're actually going to go on board with Jesse Fox and see if he can't take us around the
Whoa. Wow. Kept that together. Holy cow.
I don't know how he just saved that.
That was incredible.
We're going to bring up his dashboard. Driver out of Jasper, Indiana. He's going to come and get his first lap. Now, these are only 4-speed transmissions, unlike their, Cup Series counterpart. These were 2 generations ago, so right around that, 2004 area. Colin, I don't know if you were still in diapers at that time, but...
No, Alan. That was just about to start high school, man. These were the cars that I grew up with. These are the cars that I remember watching, at Sunday dinner with my family, and my uncles they always had the race on, and I remember the era of, kind of Jeff Gordon dominance, or going into this era was some Jeff Gordon dominance, but yeah, these are the cars that I feel the most warm nostalgia when I see them.
Well, Jesse Fox comes off at turn number 3 and 4 for his first lap. He's going to come to the second lap, and it's going to be a 32.88. And it's going to get him 5th quickest as he completes his qualifying run. A lot of these drivers, may opt to not qualify here tonight.
Yeah, qualifying position isn't going to be too crucial, but if you can manage to start at the very front of the field, maybe you'll, avoid an early wreck that happens mid-pack.
Want to thank everybody for joining us here in the YouTube.com live chat. Astro saying good luck, Jesse Fox. Machinite Garage, it's Phil Archibald. Says let's go Outsiders. It's Phil Archibald. Hey Phil, hey Astro, Jesse Fox says that. Philip Archibald also says we miss you, Jesse, and let's go Truth. Well, Phil, it just so happens that Truth Oak is timed in around at 3rd position. So it looks like Brandon Honeycutt's going out for some extracurricular activity. So
Maybe some pit stop practice.
Well, we got about a minute left in practice, or qualifying rather, as these drivers are going to get geared up and get ready to get into their cars. And it's been known to have some of the drivers sneak in a qualifying lap. They can still make the qualifying lap now if they want to. But real quickly, I want to touch is you see the logos on the top right hand corner of your screen. If you scan the QR code and type in Racers Elite for the GTR, I believe that's a sim rig that you're in some sim products that they are promoting there, and also the Moza wheelbases and stuff. I mean, they got those at Micro Center, and they are ungodly expensive. But you can definitely pick them up. Scan the QR code and follow the link and get yourself some great deals on some great Moza products.
Yeah, and that QR code, if you decide to purchase something through that QR code, the Racers Elite League gets a little kickback from Moza or GTR just to keep this league running. Pays for the broadcast and race control and iRacing hosting fees, server fees, and it's just a nice thing that Moza and GTR are doing to keep leagues alive.
Well, as these guys get ready to populate their cars, we're going to go over our starting lineup here. On the pole, we don't want that. There we go. On the pole is Greg McConey. To his outside out of Driving Extreme Incorporated is Kinsley Smith. On the inside of row number 2 out of the Outsiders Racing Stable is Truth Hoke, while Brandon Honeycutt from Driving Extreme will round out your top 4 starting spots. On the inside of row number 3 will be Jesse Fox, and starting 6th, the faster pastor Stoney Benfield. On the inside of row number 4 will be Trevor Woodward, our neighbor from the north, while Nathan Emerson will start on the outside of row number 4. On the inside of row number 5 will be Darius Timms, as John Connor will start on the outside of row number 5. On the inside of row number 6, the boss man, the chief cook, and the bottle washer here at Racers Elite, Andrew Tuft, while Chase Gerber will start in that 12th position. Coming a little bit deeper into the field here, starting 13th will be Terry Fennell. The Colonel Kirby Wainscott out of the Chicken Coop Racing will start 14th. And starting 15th will be William Kelly. And Joel Brooks Jr. will start 16th and shotgun on the field. That is your 16-car starting lineup here tonight. We're going to get that going. Get down track side. And I got to tell you, Colin, these race cars look so cool.
They really do. Especially under the lights. They're such cool cars.
I mean, you're not wrong, as we're going to bring you some great racing action here. These guys are going to get one pace lap only, and then we're going to turn them loose. Brandon Honeycutt there, and looks like a Toyota Camry. Normally we do some onboard cameras tonight, and not so much. We're gonna have some onboard cameras. Kinsley Smith will be bringing us that Napa Know-How onboard camera. Greg McConey with his onboard camera tonight. The Faster Pastor, the 811 dig line onboard camera. Andrew Tutt with the Racers Elite onboard camera. And the Colonel Kirby Wainscott with his onboard camera. And it looks like Joel Brooks Jr. going to start this one from the pits as we get ready to get cranked up to crazy here on a Friday night There's only one thing left to do. It's time to pull that 5-point harness. Grandma, grab some popcorn and settle in, because race fans, we are racing in Hotlanta. Right now, give that early advantage to Kensley Smith here on lap number 1. Working lap number 2. We got 1 lap in the history books, 129 laps to go. And right now, these guys are going to be neck and neck. As we got the TS Richie 1 going, rooting on the faster of Stony Benfield, who you normally will see on Sunday nights with the Sunday Night NASCAR League during the spring and summer, and in the trucks and the Xfinity series. But
Wearing a lot
Colin,
of hats.
hey, look, Truth Hoke is hanging in there, solidly in that top 4.
Yeah, it looks like maybe things are getting a little bit settled down. That first lap was a lot of jockeying around. It looked like a lot of movement going on.
Yeah, as you see, Kinsley Smith getting out in an early lead. Here comes Brandon Honeycutt. Brandon Honeycutt, Kinsley's teammate, and that's a welcome sight for these guys. As Nathan Everson goes from the outside to inside line.
Now these cars on this track are going to be, you got to be really careful with any bump drafting that you want to do, because it's a short enough track that you really got to figure out. You got to get a run on somebody coming out of the corner. Otherwise, by the time you can give them that bump, you're already going into turn 3.
Yeah, as you say that, we're watching Andrew Teft. Andrew Teft went fast time a lap ago with a 30.29, but right now Chase Greer in that number 95 car, he's set the fastest lap of the race with a 29.71.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of those cars that are outside the top 10 clicking off fastest laps because they're just hanging back a bit, sticking with the draft, and staying out of trouble. But it's fast back there.
It is fast, and right now there's a lot of action going on, a lot of jockeying for position. As Stony Benfield, there he is, the faster pastor. Oh boy! I mean, so Stony Benfield is one of those drivers that is he quietly works his way through the field.
If you want to do it quietly, you got to make sure not to give anybody a bumper at the wrong time.
Right now, Kinsley Smith continues to lead the piece. We're 8 laps into this 130 lap affair. Joel Brooks opted to start from the pit lane. Now he's 3 laps down. Whoa! We got a car on the wall.
Keep it moving in the right direction, and we stay green.
That's okay. We can keep it green. It looks like it's going to be William Kelly though. There we go. We found him. It is the Joel Brooks, who is currently 4 laps down. So the caution should come out. Joel Brooks the second will be your lucky dog. Now he needs about 5 cautions to get back on the lead lap.
I've seen a few cars just scraping the wall early on in this thing. and it'll really hurt your momentum.
Yeah, so, it used to be that on the old Atlanta surface, you could slide these cars around. They're a ton of fun to drive. But now this is sort of like a Daytona type style track, where handling does matter, but you can get that draft and get a really good run.
There's so much grip at the at this resurfaced Atlanta that it really drives like a super speedway. The old Atlanta, the cars really slide around, and you gotta be on top of it every lap.
Coming out of the back straightaway, working lap number 11 out of 130. Kinsley Smith continues to lead, but his teammate, his great pal, Greg Mahoney, he's looking to the inside. He says, "Give that lead up to me." As Truth Hope is drafting McConey and trying to get McConey to the front, and he's successful at doing so.
Truth Hope is not a bad person to have behind you.
I mean, there's about 3 drivers in the field right now I can think that I want to draft with me. And one is that double nickel of Truth Hope. And I tell you what, he's had about the worst luck out of all the drivers here in the Racers Elite this week, as he finished second to Blair Holloman on Tuesday night with 2 1,000ths of a second losing that race.
That would have been his first win with Racers Elite, would it not?
I think he's won a couple.
Okay. I guess it would have been his first trucks win this season then.
Yeah. So, as we watch these guys come down that front straightaway, and the turns number 1 and 2, working lap 14 of 130. And Wednesday night, that was a great race at Auto Club, and I tell you what, if that's any indication of what the last 2 races are going to bring for the truck season, I'm ready for it.
Yeah, the trucks have definitely had some excitement this year.
Right now, the only thing that's got excitement is Kinsley Smith and Greg McConey, who continues to battle neck and neck, while Joel Brooks Jr. in that 33 car continues to be a lap down. Terry Fennell trying to be patient at Dubby number 50. I think Dubby is an energy powder that you mix in water, or an energy drink. Want to thank everybody for joining us here in the YouTube.com live chat. Shirley Dawson cheering on Kinsley Smith. Let us know who you're rooting on here tonight, and we'll get him on the broadcast. We'll give him some screen time. As right now, Tony Benfield continues riding at 6th position. It's about that's where he actually started from. Nathan Emerson up 3. He's running in the top 5 right now. What we're going to do right now is we're 17 laps in. And right now, Kinsley Smith is going to go back up to the lead. And, Colin, there's just more action right now in this top of this pile than there is in a Waffle House at 3 a.m.
Right, you are, Alan. This is it's interesting. It kind of seems like they're playing chess up there a little bit.
Who and Brandon Honeycutt's got connection issues. I hate to cut you off, but we're going to have to keep an eye on that situation, as that wreaks havoc on the drivers all around them. But as I alluded to last night, if Brandon Honeycutt just communicates to him, he'll be all right.
Yeah, it's one of those things that when somebody has connection issues like that, if it gets bad enough, they'll go to the back. But sometimes you can just give somebody enough space and things work themselves out.
Yeah, you hate to see that. That's been about Brandon Honeycutt's luck this season. He's normally racked off a couple of wins, but I don't think this is the season that he'd hoped to have across the Racers Elite Family Racing. And Stoney Benfield's going to go back down to the inside, start working an inside line. It's like the inside line has a lot more momentum than the outside line.
I wonder if that connection issue that Brandon Honeycutt was having played a role in how effective the draft was for the high line.
It might have. So I'm glad you brought that up, because right now Chase Greer is the closest car to Brandon Honeycutt in that number 95 car, and he's real hesitant to get up there and start working with him. Tony Benfield's going to go ahead and try to get up there and work with Brandon just a little bit. And now Greg McConey is going to take the number 12 to the lead, and he's going to try to bring Truce Hoke right along with him.
Alan, one thing, the Gen 4 car that I've noticed, the side draft is particularly powerful. And it seems like they've been pretty honorable, giving each other plenty of room side to side. But I suspect that later on in this run, when things start to get really competitive, you're going to see cars right against one another coming down the backstretch.
Yeah, I firmly believe that the Gen 4 cars, and you alluded to just a moment ago, have that towards side draft. And it's like a gentleman's agreement. Don't side draft, don't do anything egregious. Because these cars do not have restrictor plates here, as we're going to go ahead and go on board with Truce Hoke. Let me find it, what I want to do here. As we're on board with Truce Hoke right here, from driver out of Hickory, North Carolina. He's doing about 175 miles an hour. And it's closer to 185 in the draft. So these cars are a little bit slower. The downforce isn't really there. so the downforce isn't really there like it is in the next gen car, the Gen 6 car.
Yep. Yeah, these are a little bit more of a handful than the Gen 6 and the next gen as far as that high speed cornering. They tend to slide a little bit more, and you gotta work the throttle as much as you work the wheel.
Absolutely, as we're gonna take it on out to the wider shot. There we go. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and step aside. We're going to go side by side here. You won't miss a thing here on Sim Racing Radio. We'll be right back after these messages. Welcome back to the Racers Elite Superspeedway Series. We are live here from Atlanta Motor Speedway in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Studio. I'm Alan Bergen, alongside my broadcast partner Colin McDonough, and right now we're working lap 32. Greg McConey, Truth Hoke, and Chase Greer continue to lead this thing. Kinsley Smith rounds out your top 4, and Brandon Honeycutt will round out your top 5. And Colin, it's finally settled down to where these guys can kind of take a deep breath and, get their bearings back about themselves.
Yeah, everybody's gotten single filed out, and I wonder, a lot of the time that happens, it's because people are talking about making a pit stop soon. I don't think that's the case just yet. I think.
Hello.
Oh my goodness!
And Colin, you mentioned
way to keep that together.
Colin, you mentioned pit stops. What kind of fuel load are we looking at, and how many tires since we got in the pits tonight?
Oh, that is an excellent question, Alan. I did not check.
While Colin looks up that information, we are looking at Truth Hoke, Greg McConey, and Chase Greer. Now, Chase Greer almost had an incident here with Kinsley Smith. Kinsley Smith got into the the left rear of that number 95 car as we are high above the speedway in the drone cam. And I don't know why we gave Shane Lake, the big dog, Shane Lake, the keys to the drone, but he needs to park it. We're working lap 35 of 130.
So, Alan, we've got unlimited tires, 75% fuel, and I'm not sure how many laps that'll get you.
Don't burn up the calculator too fast, because right now Greg McConey is one of those drivers that he's essentially great at saving fuel. So 65%, 75%, it doesn't matter, as these guys are probably gonna try to short pit the second stint.
And at a track like Atlanta, it's really important to make sure that you've got a pit partner, somebody to come down with that you can draft one another once you get back out and keep a solid pace. But Greg McConey's been on the front the whole race, so he's definitely burning his stuff up a little bit more than some of those drivers further back.
Well, now they're going to drive down to the inside. I would suspect that Greg McConey is probably going to think about coming in within the next 5 to 10 laps. Here we go. But now what we're seeing is 3 different groups form. We got the top 4, and then we got back there in 5th, who is Tony Benfield, Brandon Honeycutt, Trevor Woodward, Nathan Emerson, Andrew Tuft, all the way back to about the neighborhood of Kirby Wainscott in that 10, who is thinking outside the bun tonight with the Taco Bell scheme.
Now, I gotta say, Chase Greer, he came from the back. He's up 9 spots to be in that lead pack of 4.
Well, I tell you what, he should be in the top 3 with the car that says Liquid Death. Look, I'm not gonna drink. We're not. I wouldn't put anything on my car that would guarantee me death. Working lap number 39, coming to lap 40, 39 in the books. We are rocking and rolling all the way to the finish line on this one. And Colin, as a driver, what are you seeing that you would maybe do differently on the racetrack?
Not a whole lot. I think this is really what I'd like to see as a driver, is a lot of single file, just clicking the laps off, because fighting for position right now, knowing you have pit stops coming, it's really not going to do you a whole lot of good to move up, a couple spots on track.
Yeah, when you're going to do all that work and then you're going to lose them right back when you go on pit road. As right now, it looks like Greg McConey trying to get the Indy Snake going. And I'm not for sure, but I think there is out of bounds rule in effect here tonight.
There should be.
Colin, I'm going to send you on a mission to go find that out from race control.
Ooh, I will go on that mission to find out from race control.
As right now we're watching Greg McConey, Terry Fennell, gonna bring it down pit road. There he is in a number 50 car. He's bleeding laps. Truth Hoke has been glued to the bumper since the drop of the green flag of Greg McConey. And here comes Kinsley Smith with Chase Greer right in tow. There's your top four. Looking pretty stout here on lap number 43. 42 laps here in the history books. Greg McConey, your winner last Friday night. I want to thank everybody for joining us here in the YouTube.com live chat, making Sim Racing Media and the Racers Elite Superspeedway Series your entertainment destination here on this wonderful Friday night. So we got Astro saying good luck, Jesse Fox. Mash on It Garage saying let's go, Jesse Fox. Yeah, let's go Outsiders. It's Phil Archibald. Jesse Fox saying hey Phil, hey Astro. We miss you, Jesse. Let's go Truth. TS Richie 1 says go number 75 to Faster Pastor. And Shirley Dawson cheering on Kinsley Smith.
So, Alan, I checked in with race control. The double line rule is in effect. You may not overtake below that line.
Now you can, however, give up a position below the line.
That is right.
I know a little bit about something.
Yeah, we've seen a number of people do that. Usually you see it at Talladega and Daytona, where somebody just doesn't really like what they're seeing up ahead, and they'll fall down to the inside line, very far inside line, below the double yellow line, or double line. In this case, it's white, double white line, and fall to the back of the field just because they want to stay out of trouble.
Yeah, as we've seen that numerous times here. Chase Greer going to the inside of Kinsley Smith. Kinsley Smith gonna bounce out and give up that third spot to Chase Greer. He's gonna fall back to fourth. And you know that might be one of those things that might be a strategy move right there, Colin, as Kinsley Smith is gonna go ahead and try to get sucked up to that number 95 car. As Kinsley Smith might be a better pusher, not a pushee. As we got cars coming down pit road, Brandon Honeycutt coming down pit road to get his services. Or coming off pit road, rather.
Yep, that's pit road exit.
Kinsley Smith.
Smith's in.
Yep. Any other tickers? Anybody else?
Yeah, we're gonna see a lot of people start filtering through.
Working lap number 48 of 130 here. 16 cars strong here, as Joel Brooks has essentially ran 16 laps, and well, he's still in the pit, so well, it's safe to say that he's gonna win the proverbial race of the beer stand. Looking a little deeper in the field, here we are, the 75 car of the Faster Pastor, the Stony Benfield.
So Kinsley Smith on lap 47. Haven't seen anybody, any other takers yet.
And that's a sinking feeling, knowing that the field's going to come up on you at any time. As we are working lap number 50 of 130. And we've only been racing for 25 minutes total on the race time.
Yeah, these laps click off fast, Alan. These are 30 seconds apiece. Chase Greer's got a 29.7. Kirby Winscott's got a 29.9. But these are quick laps.
I mean, a mile and a half that drives like a super speedway. I mean, you would think that they would be anyhow. But this racetrack historically produces just as good, if not better finishes than the old style Atlanta did.
Certainly does.
Now I say that to say it because we are so blessed to have both versions on iRacing and the iRacing servers, as there's a lot of great content coming out here on iRacing, and just I cannot wait for one track in particular.
Alan, do tell us.
Oh, the wonderful Houston Speedway.
Houston Speedway.
Houston.
Houston Speedway.
Yep. You know where it's at?
I do not. Tell me more.
It's in Brandon, South Dakota. Truth Hook showing going off track here.
Whoa. Looks like Greg McConey and Truth Hook both into the pit road. What happened to Truth?
See what happened here.
Whoa! Whoa!
You can't park there. Let's go one more look from a different angle. As we're going to tell him to get back to the chopper. So here's Truth Hook making that pit entry. He's thinking about it. Maybe not. Okay. Now he's committed and oh boy.
I think he might have started sliding the back end and didn't want to correct and end up going onto the racing surface.
That's fair.
Yeah, that's the very honorable thing to do.
As we
is
got
to
a whole
just take the hit on the inside wall.
We got a whole host of cars coming down pit road. Truth Hook is still on pit road.
He might be there for a little while.
Well, keep in mind they do have a fast.
There he goes. I believe they have one fast repair, if I'm not mistaken. And with a tag like that on the wall, maybe, just maybe, you try to avoid using the fast repair for that, and you just wait it out.
I still think you use it.
All right.
I think you use it at the end of the race when you need it the most.
Yeah.
Because I think if you use it at lap 56, you literally cannot touch anybody.
Absolutely not.
And
you can't.
Anybody.
You can't get tangled with anyone.
Kirby Wainscott continues to lead this piece as Kinsley Smith now cycles back to the lead. Greg McConey right behind him. Now it's become a two-horse race, and not a lot separating these two drivers except for maybe that proverbial piece of paper. Only 3 cars a lap down. Truth Hook 1 lap down, riding in 15th. Brandon Honeycutt 1 lap down, riding in 14th. Terry Fennell riding in 13th right now, also 1 lap down.
Yeah, Kirby Wainscott must have had an awesome either in lap or out lap. Because I didn't even realize he had made his pit stop and was running 4th.
Well, here we are working lap number 59 as they cross the line.
Oh.
Sorry,
Don't want to be doing that too much.
You know, in the car when that wall scrapes the proverbial wall, it's not really a noise you want to hear.
No, and these, I don't know if it's the safer barrier or if it's these Gen 4 cars, but you get one of these things on the wall, it just grabs the car.
Yeah, and here comes Andrew Teft working the outside. He's up to that 6th position. And right now, Chase Greer's about a little over 4 seconds away. Kirby Wainscott, his group is about 7 seconds away from the lead.
Yeah, I think this is where you're going to see a lot of fighting on track. Oh, my goodness.
And how did they not wreck?
That's... Everybody kept it going the same direction, so... That's one of those moments where, oops, we can't get that close to one another.
Kirby Wainscott gonna go ahead and pull out in front of this group and start working his way towards Chase Greer in that number 95 car. And Colin, 2 seconds is the gap from Kirby Wainscott to Chase Greer.
Yeah, if they can stay organized, they'll definitely. I say that as they almost look like they're going 3 wide. If they could get organized, they will definitely close in on that lead pack, no problem.
Yeah, and that's the trick, is to stay organized. As right now, we got Kirby Wainscott, and then you got Trevor Woodward in that number 6 car. And we got to check out his paint.
Yeah, they are closing in at almost a half second a lap for some of them. So
You're not wrong, as we're watching Trevor Woodward in that number 6 Budweiser Chevrolet, our neighbor from the north, and that is a slick looking race car.
right you are, Alan. That is
He didn't even got the board on date. Well, here's what's going on right now. Is Greg McConey, and there's the eyeball test, have essentially driven away from the field. They've all but decided they want to make this a 2-car race.
it's. I just don't think in these Gen 4 cars that you're gonna do it with 2 cars. If you had 3, maybe. If you had 4, for sure. But 2 cars, I think that bigger pack behind is gonna reel you in.
I think, as you just mentioned, that larger packs starting to reel these guys in. Now we're starting to see that happen.
If they can catch up to a lap car though, and get a 3rd car working with them, that could be just a game changer for them. See Truth Hoke up ahead.
Truth Hoke back there in that 15th spot. And just right you are. That's what they needed. That's what Kinsley Smith and Greg McConey both needed.
Exactly what they need.
And right now, outside of that, I don't think Kirby Wainscott's having much fun on a Friday.
Did something happen to Kirby?
Not that I know of.
Ah.
There he is. He's back there hanging on to the last few cars of this pack. They're not driving away from him.
Good, good, good. As long as that group is sticking together, I think this could be really exciting in about 10 laps time.
I mean, you're not wrong. Here we are working lap number 70 of 130. We're going to go ahead and step aside one more time and take our second commercial break of the night. You won't miss anything here live on Sim Racing Media. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Racers Elite Superspeedway Series as we are working lap number 76 out of 130. And Colin, it's been rather uneventful here so far as Kinsley Smith and now Truth Hoke is riding behind these two, essentially opening up the almost 6.5 second gap.
Well, Alan, uneventful isn't always a bad thing. There's a lot left to this race. I think we're going to see more pit stops on or around lap. Could be as late as 110. But there will be more pit stops. I kind of hope that they're green flag pit stops just to keep things exciting and interesting. But there will definitely be a shakeup at some point in this race.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost guaranteed as we're working lap number 77. It's almost guaranteed it's going to be a shakeup at some point in this race. And we never know when it's coming. Right now, as you alluded to earlier, if they had that third car, well, guess what? They got the third car now, and it's in the form of Truth Hoke.
And yeah, they are clicking off with Truth Hoax's help. They are actually extending that lead out in front now.
Yeah, absolutely. Here we come off of turn number 4 once again. Working lap number 79 of 130. Right now it's Greg McConey, Andrew Teft, and Kinsley Smith continues to lead, with Stoney Benfield running out the 4th position and Chase Greer in the 5th slot.
You know, Alan, it's interesting to see Kinsley Smith and Greg McConey nose to tail now, because at the beginning of the race they were side to side competing for laps led.
So Truth Hoax just needs to stand pat, and that was a great observation. Now watching these two draft is a sight to be sold, because a lot of these guys tend to know what each other's going to do.
Yeah, and one thing that you can count on from Truth Hoax, even if he has even if he's got a bad race, he always wants to take it to the checkered flag. So if you do happen to link up with him as a lap car, helping with your draft, he's there for you. He'll stick it through to the end.
Yeah, absolutely. It's right now Kinsley Smith, Greg McConey, Andrew Teft. That's your top 3. We're going to go a little bit deeper in the field with John Connor in that number 97 car. He's leading up that 3rd and final row.
Yeah, this is where the idea of getting organized is so important. If you can get these cars bumper to bumper practically, they just get so much faster. Atlanta's not the easiest track to do that on, because you can kind of get loose into the corner, or get tight on exit, whatever it may be, and so it's very nerve-wracking to be right on somebody's bumper, because the last thing you want to do is give them a bad bump.
Yeah, right now Trevor Woodward continues to ride in that 6th position. He's up 1 spot. He started 7th.
Just looking at lap times, it's everybody's pretty much clicking off the same lap times. Nobody's really making big strides to catch the group ahead of them or get away from the group behind them.
Yeah, just as they say that, we're going to stick with this group right here, because right now Kinsley Smith and Greg McConey aren't really doing anything that important besides swapping the lead.
Besides trying to rack up most laps led.
At this point, I'll take it.
Yeah, why not?
I mean, there's that second group, and Kinsley Smith and Greg McConey are in a league of their own.
Yeah, I just noticed that third group is reeling in the second group a little bit, maybe a 10th per lap. But it's not much.
Not your cup of tea, is it? Right now, Andrew Teft concedes and sit. He would at the race would end right now. He would be the last car on the podium, working 87 of 130, 86 laps in the history books.
Wouldn't that be a wild battle? Fight over the last podium spot.
But right now, Andrew Teft is starting to eat into that to that interval that gets him in the second ever so slightly.
Yeah, it looks like Kensley Smith and Greg McConey's their pace is fallen off a little bit, and John Connor they're starting to put in some good headway further back with John Connor and Nathan Emerson.
Absolutely,
they're about 0.2 quicker.
Let's go ahead and check up on Kensley Smith and Greg McConey as well. They continue to. They're now out to a 9-second lead over Andrew Tuft. Some other noticeable things going on. Jesse Fox back on the lead lap. There's Mr. Jesse. Terry Fennell, Joel Brooks II are essentially done for the night. Both had their fun meters pegged, and well, Joel Brooks is your race. He wins the race to the beer stand.
Yeah, sometimes that's the way it goes. At least you get to win a race. Yeah, this is some great work by this third group, if you will. They are about 0.3 a lap quicker than the group ahead of them, and striking distance is about 10 laps if you stick on this pace.
Yeah, I mean, we're not wrong here. Jesse Fox, back on the lead lap. There's Tony Benfield right behind Andrew Tuft. Now, Andrew Tuft getting that Indy thing. Andrew Tuft has always been a good drafter. Don't ever count him out on drafting. I feel like we shouldn't sleep on Andrew.
No, we certainly should not sleep on Andrew. He's always got a trick up his sleeve. I feel like he's always thinking strategy. No matter what strategy he's on, he's always thinking about the other strategies that he could have been on or could potentially still go to. So it makes me curious about when pit stops might happen.
I can tell you this right now, from being on track, and we've both been on track. He has thought of every possible scenario that will make him not go lap down.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, no, Richmond in the Xfinity cars was a great example of. I talked to Andrew. I was like, 1 stop or 2 stop? He said, no, I'm doing 1 stop. I was like, I don't know about these tires. I'm gonna try a 2 stop. And boy, was I wrong.
I mean, if you're gonna be wrong, at least be wrong with Andrew Tuft. As we're watching the 75, the faster Tony Benfield. And I mean, there he is, just doing his thing.
Ooh, Greg McConey, I hate to interrupt, Greg McConey and Kensley Smith are both into pit road. And there goes Truth Oak as well.
That's a good move for Truth. And that's going to give the race back over to Andrew Tuft. Or not back over, but it's going to give the race to Andrew Tuft. As we're working lap number. So now we're going to make that 40-lap run to the end of this race. So this is going to be about where I'd want to pit also. Maybe even go to lap 100, and then you got a 30-lap sprint to the finish.
The last thing that Greg McConey, Kensley Smith. There they go.
Ooh,
whoa!
Save it, save it.
What a save. Woohoo!
Kirby Wainscott will inherit the lead as they will start putting cars a lap down. Now, when this cycles back through, Kinsley Smith and Greg McConey will be doing Greg McConey and Kinsley Smith type things. Working lap number 97 of 130. Here I couldn't have dreamed this up in a month of Sundays. Kirby Wainscott and Chase Greer leading this race. Now Kirby Wainscott's going to get everything out of that fuel cell, including the gas cap.
And it's funny, man. And here he comes. I think Kirby on the last pit cycle also got himself some lead
Whoa,
laps. Oh,
Emerson has an issue.
I think he'll get a speeding penalty for that, but at least he kept it inside the cone.
I mean, you can deal with the speeding penalty. It's only a 40-second hold. Now, I believe that the unsafe pit insurance is another 40-second hold.
Yeah, I think it might even be a minute 30 total. It's pretty brutal. Wow, did Kirby just take fuel?
I think Kirby is playing the strategy game. But like you alluded to earlier, so we got 31 laps left to go here. I don't think I'm taking tires this late in the run because I want to get in and get out. And I believe since tire fall off is not really an issue, there's really no need to take tires unless the caution comes out.
Yeah, sometimes people take right sides just because the amount of fuel you're putting in the car, it doesn't hurt you time-wise to take right side tires. But yeah, if you only need a little bit, definitely just go for fuel.
Well, here we are, 30 laps to go. And, Kinsley Smith, Greg McConey, True Toke is 2 laps down, but he could also help out Greg McConey. And that's what Greg McConey wants to see is that number, that double nickel in his rearview mirror. Because when the time comes, as we got, 29 to go, when the time comes, he's going to be counting on True to push him past Kinsley Smith.
You're exactly right. And Chase Greer stayed out by himself, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, right now Chase Greer has that, almost 30-second gap, and it's not really fallen off too much.
Yeah, I'm surprised that his, I guess with all the pit stops and cars slowing down, getting back up to speed, he didn't really lose that much of that gap, but that gap's going to start shrinking rapidly.
And it begs the question is we're starting to see it now shrink ever so slightly, just a little bit at a time, as Kinsley Smith and Greg McConey are taking little chunks out at a time, as he is now down to a 28.5-second lead over Kinsley Smith there in that number 15 Napa Know-How Chevrolet.
If a caution had come out during those pit stops, Chase Greer would look like a genius.
Right now, if you're watching on the YouTube, there's a couple of QR codes. The GTR promo code is Racers Elite. Scan that QR code, type in Racers Elite, get yourself some great deals on some GTR products. Moza Sim Racing, same way. Scan the QR code. The promo code is Racers Elite. Get yourself some great Moza direct drive wheels. I don't think right now a Moza wheel is way out of my reach.
Yeah, it's everyone I've ever talked to that's got one has said only wonderful things about them. But it's it's some serious equipment.
Yeah, and so make sure you check out those. Type in Racers Elite, Don't forget, tomorrow you can catch a number of us sim racing media personalities in the Snowball Derby with Racers Elite. That's a stout looking field right there for that one. As there's a little
It
over
looks like
21 cars signed in for that.
Darius Timms just fell back. I wonder. Oh, yep, he's down pit road.
You gotta wonder when Chase Greer's finally gonna blink and take the proverbial trip down pit road. But tune in tomorrow. Snowball Derby, Mike DeMonte, Shane Lake, all the action. And a number of us sim racing media guys will be mixing it up on the short track there, 5 flags.
I think Jordan Brockell's going to be on track, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Jordan Brockell is going to be on track. I don't think I've ever been on track with Jordan Brockell, but so tomorrow night, Saturday, December 7th, at I think qualifying is at 8:50 Eastern. We're grading at 9 o'clock Eastern. That's 7:50 Central and 8 Central. For those of you viewers in the Central Time Zone or people that have to do math and they schedule live for the Racers Elite Cup Series and other series. But right now, I want to talk about this humongous lead. Chase Greer, and you're not going to believe it, but he's still leading by 25 seconds just on a Sunday drive as we got 21 laps to go here.
And, Alan, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's no way he can make this on fuel.
He can if he just backs up his corners. He's got to be doing something different that nobody else is doing. There's the eyeball test. That's what 20 seconds looks like. So, Kinsley Smith is coming out of turn 2 as he's going into turn 3. Here he comes, down pit road.
Here he comes.
20 laps to go. I imagine he's probably going to try to take fuel here as Teft and Benfield and Woodward go right on around him. And we're going to stick with Chase Greer right here as we got 20 laps to go. We're going to see if he takes fuel only and gets out ahead of Kinsley Smith and Greg McConey. And there he goes. 15,
oh, 2
13,
tires.
10. There we go. Greg McConey and Kinsley Smith now out front of this thing. And that's what you had mentioned was going to happen when we saw that. I mean, I thought he was going to make a run to the end with whatever fuel he had left.
I was thinking so too, because his last stop was on lap 54. And so I figured he has to come in at 108. He's got to come in at 109. And I started to think, is there any way that he doesn't have to stop?
Well, I know for one thing, if I would have said, oh, he's going to make it to the end, you would have called me crazy and said my math wasn't mathing.
I would have called you crazy, but I also thought to myself, am I crazy to not know that maybe he could do it?
Either way, nonetheless, that's going to give... Now, these two have been battling all night, and here's something egregious that Kinsley Smith is not going to want to see. That's Brandon Honeycutt having those connections issues he's had essentially all week long. And now's the time where Brandon really got to communicate with Kinsley Smith, hey, I'm low, you need to go high, or where do you want me at? You know.
Yep.
I feel like this is one of those rules that are self-policing, where, you know, the drivers just kind of leave it up to themselves. You know, and there's, I think it's like a gentleman's agreement where, you know, the leader will ask the lap car to go low or he'll ask the lap car to go high. And here we go. This is not what Kinsley Smith wanted, and that was Brandon Honeycutt to hold him up, because now it's going to allow Greg McConey to essentially use Brandon Honeycutt as a pick, if you will. Well, we got a car in the wall.
Oh, Jesse Fox is in the wall.
We're going to stay green, though. He's going to get it off the wall.
Yeah, Alan, you can fight the wall, but the wall will win.
Oh, you mean the law?
The wall, Alan.
Oh, the wall, not the law. Well, just as I mentioned, here we go. We're going to go around Brandon Honeycutt. Now, keep in mind, Truth Hook is behind these two, and he's essentially a great teammate right now as he's 2 laps down. Brandon Honeycutt is now 2 laps down also. So, if you're Truth and Brandon, you're in a peculiar spot because now you can help teammates out.
Yeah, this is wow. So this is actually the top 4 cars at the start of this race are now 2 of your leaders and 2 lapped cars. Linking up. Oh my goodness, are they gonna link up with the same people that they were with?
And that's going to get answered in 14.
Oh my goodness. Who would have thought that the end of this race would be playing out with the same drivers as the beginning of this race, but not all eligible for position?
Now we're seeing something crazy happen, right? Greg McConey is mired to the outside. He's got Brandon Honeycutt right behind him. Truce Hook is mired to the inside, and he's got Kinsley Smith in front of him. Here we are coming.
Alan, I did not have this on my bingo card.
I mean, who would have thought this scenario was going to start playing out?
I could not, in my wildest dreams, Alan, this is not what I thought would happen to the end of this race. All things considered.
Well, here we go. 10 laps to go. And, you know, eventually, these guys, Truth and Brandon, are going to do the flippity flop. As we have 11 laps to go now. Kinsley Smith starting to get a little bit loose there. Just ever so slightly. And Greg McConey, you know, doesn't just work with teammates. He believes in the word cooperation.
Oh, Alan, fancy this. Truth Hoke and Brandon Honeycutt are battling each other for position.
That makes this all the more interesting as we got 10 laps to go.
They're 2 laps down, but they are battling each other for position.
Now this is what Brandon Honeycutt did not want to see, and that's... See, I told you, they're going to flip. They're going to flip.
It was only a matter of time.
Truce Hook goes to the outside line to help his outsider's teammate. Here comes Brandon Honeycutt. It might be an extreme night before this is all said and done. We got 9 laps to go. You know, and this is what makes this track so fun to A, race on, and B, call it races for. Because you get this sort of racing going on all night long. I mean, who would have ever dreamed this up in a month of Sundays?
And Alan, you're gonna start to see a little bit of door banging. The side draft is definitely gonna start getting used as we click down 8 to go.
That's okay. Now we're beyond. Now we're down to 8 laps to go. Race.
Oh, we're racing. It's on, Alan.
I feel like we just showed up to the race. 8 laps to go, coming down to get 7 to go. Kinsley Smith has Brendan Honeycutt behind him, and this is the way we thought it would play out. But there's another 2 cars behind these guys, and that's Jesse Fox and that 69 car, along with the 70 car of William Kelly.
And the two, Jesse Fox and William Kelly, are racing one another for position.
Now, who do you go with?
In front of, hang on, in front of the cars on track of Brendan Honeycutt and Truth Hoke that are racing each other for position. Behind Kensley Smith and Greg McConey, who are racing each other for the win.
We're going to stick with this. This is the most action that's going on right now. We're going to come down out of turn number 3 and 4 to get the handshake lap where five phalanges are in the air.
This is 3 separate 2-car battles playing out in front of us.
Like you didn't see this one coming from a mile away.
I certainly didn't.
I certainly did.
Four to go as we cross the line. Alan, I could not have imagined that this race would give us such a treat. Kensley Smith on the low line, Greg McConey on the high line, and they just battle back and forth for the slightest margin to beat one another across the line. With their drafting partners in tow, it might come down to a friendly teammate bump. It could make all the difference. Oh, and Brendan Honeycutt with a big blink. 2 laps to go. Oh, Brendan Honeycutt's really struggling with connection. Oh, and Greg McConey's going to be hoping that Truth Hoke can get back on his bumper soon. Really going to need some help. We exit turn 4 and head into the tri-oval. White flag, 1 lap remains. Oh, this is an exciting one, Alan. Kensley Smith has the advantage coming out of turn 2, and he goes to the high side to block Greg McConey. Will Greg McConey respond by coming down to the inside? Brandon Honeycutt's there. Can Greg McConey get the run out of turn 4? Truth Hoke drags the wall. Checkered flag flies. Kensley Smith comes across the line first. Greg McConey second. Brandon Honeycutt will win your battle between himself and Truth Hoke. And William Kelly will win the race between himself and Jesse Fox. Looks like Andrew Teft will come home in the 3rd position. Oh my goodness, Alan, what a race. We're going to try to get your top 3 in here for interviews in just a moment, as Kensley Smith burns it down. Kensley Smith, it's Colin and Alan in the broadcast booth. Do you have a copy?
Yes, sir.
Take us through that race. Did you think that you'd be linked back up with your drafting partner coming into the last, 20 laps of this thing?
Not at all. I wasn't even paying attention to where he was. I just knew Truth and McConey were working together, so I was planning on something if it was just me, but I saw Brandon off in the distance, and I was like, thank God. and it just worked out that way right there to be able to he gave me a good push coming out of or going into one, and I was able to get out ahead of McConey and kind of trap him up high, and then get the run going down to the bottom of 3 and 4. So everything just worked out.
I gotta say, it was a very exciting one to watch as the top 4 from the beginning of the race linked back up together going into the final stage, despite the fact that your teammate was a lap down or 2 laps down, as well as Truth Hoke being 2 laps down. So it was an interesting team dynamic going on.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Me and McConey were fighting for first and second, and then Brandon and Truth were fighting for 11th and 12th. So it kind of came full circle in a way.
Yeah, that was an awesome finish. Is there anybody you'd like to thank for getting you here tonight?
Of course, Brandon, being part of Driving to Stream Inc. We work phenomenally together, especially at these restrictor plate tracks and stuff like that. And then just my whole team in general at Driving Extreme Inc. We're just past a year being together, so. And then of course Andrew for putting on league, and you guys at SRM for broadcasting our races, and of course my number 1 fan, my daughter.
Well, Kensley, thank you for putting on an awesome show, and we will, go enjoy this victory, and we'll catch you next time.
Thank you, guys.
Greg McConey, it's Colin and Alan in the broadcast booth. Do you have a copy?
Yes, sir. What's up, boys?
How are you doing? Can you take us through the closing stages of this one and how that played out for you all and everybody involved?
Yeah, my arms hurt. I'm tired after that one. This thing was really this wheel wanted to fight you all night. No, it was fun. I was so tight in that first run. I think my right front was at 52 and I was in the lead for most of it. So I was like, all right, we're going to be in trouble here. And then when I came down after Kensley and them had come down a few laps earlier, Truth had a computer problem and it kind of shot him to the wall. So I was like, all right, I might be in trouble here. And then, but no, I came out. I was able to hook onto the back of Kensley, and just him and I knew that there was no need for me to really be going crazy to try and get ahead of him, because we were pulling ahead on that other group. So, that worked. I just said, all right, I'll ride with him tonight, and we'll see how the tires are. The tires were better, so I knew I was in a good spot. And then at the end there, I just knew I saw us gaining on Honeycutt, and I was like, all right, if we catch him, he's going to be in this pack, and he's going to be helping Kensley because they're teammates. And I got outside of Kensley with a run with 10 to go or whatever. And then I saw Honeycutt drop right behind him. I was like, come on, Truth, I need you right here. Just to give me that bump. But no, Honeycutt gave a great push to Kensley there, going into one on the last lap. That put him ahead. And then from there, I knew I had second lockdown. I was trying to get back to Kensley's bumper, but just couldn't do it right then and there. Got a little tight in one. And hey, but you know what? I'll take P2 championship wise. I came in 7 points up, had a great points night. So can't complain going into the championship race next week.
When this race started and it was you and Kensley at the front, with Brandon Honeycutt and Truth Hook behind you, did you expect, after all of the events throughout the course of this race, that those would be the same players involved coming down to the checkered flag?
Yes. I just thought it would be with a much bigger group. I was expecting normal Atlanta racing here where the pack stays together for so long. And then I don't know what it was with the green flag stops that kind of got us all spread out like it did. But no, and then coming back down, I Kensley and Honeycutt and Truth are all fantastic super speedway racers. They understand how to draft. They understand when and how to push and how to get around guys. So I knew they would be players late in the game for this thing. Honestly, kind of wish they were with us on the lead lap. It would have been fun having that nice little 4-car battle there. But no, it was fun racing with those guys, even though those two were fighting for their lap back. But no, it was I knew those other 3 would be involved for darn sure.
Well, it was an exciting one for us to watch up in the booth. Is there anybody you have to thank for getting you here tonight?
Oh, for sure. I got to thank, first off, my primary sponsor on the car tonight, which is my wife's company on Whatnot, Magical Mama's Creations and Collectibles. You can find her on Whatnot at magical_mama. She does Disney collectibles. She sells a lot of her custom crafts. She's doing a little resale now. She does shows on Monday, and she's actually running one right now, somewhere about 8:30, 9 o'clock Eastern. So be sure to go check her out. Tell her that Greg sent you from the Racers Elite League. I got to thank my other sponsors, Boffman Excavating, the family that I know is watching. I got to thank Taft and all the guys that help put this league on. Truth, Kinsley, Honeycutt, all those guys racing clean at the end there. It could have gotten sketchy at times, but it was great to have a fantastic finish like that. And then I got to thank you guys. You guys put on a great race broadcast. I can't wait to go back and watch this one. This one will be fun to watch and seeing how all the strategy and everything played out for everybody else.
Well, it was a fun one for us to watch up in the booth. I could say that much. So thanks for being here. Thanks for putting on a good show, and we'll catch you next time.
Sounds good, man. Glad we were able to put on a great show for you.
And it looks like we have our 3rd place finisher, Andrew Teft. Do you have a copy?
I do.
Andrew, take us through that race and how things shook out for you tonight.
It started off pretty racy, and I think the track cooled down. We just kind of got spread out, and we were able to just kind of run full throttle on the bottom, and kind of tough to make a pass like that unless you get back up and get a run. But yeah, those guys were able to get separated, I think, by short pitting, and sometimes you get a little pack of 3 or 4 cars here, and they can be quicker than a larger pack for whatever reason, and that seems to be what happened. And we just we tried to move up the track. I tried drag and brake. I tried a whole bunch of stuff to try to make up some kind of ground on them, but just couldn't do it.
Were you fighting with a loose or tight car?
Just the way the package was, we were just kind of full throttle wrapping the bottom, and if you went higher, it just seemed to be longer. And for whatever reason, people weren't able to stay uptight to the car in front of them. I think if I had somebody that could have really hung on my bumper there, maybe we could have made up some ground. But when I would drag the brake, it would just seem to make us slower. So it was just a tough one to figure out. Just seemed like that little compact pack happened to be faster than the larger one tonight, even when we were single file working together.
Yeah, I will say it was a fun one to watch and see lap times click off and see which pack was up a tenth of that lap, or what the closing distance was for the pack ahead. But it did seem like it was tricky to get organized to really get the pace to catch the group ahead.
Yeah, there were times where we got side by side, and normally that's kind of what you don't want to do when you're trying to catch the next pack, and that almost seemed faster sometimes being side by side. So we were a little bit confused trying to figure it out. But yeah, congrats to Kensley. Those guys really pulled it off.
Yeah, it was a fun one to watch, and I didn't expect that their teammates would be couple laps down, and really big players at the end of the race up front. So, is there anybody you want to shout out or thank for making this happen tonight?
Yes, SRM as always for putting on the show. Everybody that tunes in to watch and shows up to race. And if you're interested in checking us out, head on over to racerselite.com. We've got a brand new series starting Monday. Going to be running at 7:30 every week. Class racing series on ovals, kind of new, something different. So check us out, racerselite.com. Also want to thank our servicemen and women and my family and my team.
And Andrew, will you be running in the Snowball Derby coming up tomorrow?
I will be. I'm glad you mentioned that. That's our next big race, and it's happening tomorrow night, same time, 9 o'clock. So $10 to get in. Got up to $250 in prizes. All the info is right on our website. Just hop in our Discord and shoot me a message. We'll get you set up.
Well, I'm looking forward to it personally, so I'll be seeing you out there. And congratulations on P3 tonight.
Yeah, can't wait for tomorrow night. Thanks.
Yeah, man. Have a great one. And that will do it for your podium finishers tonight at the Racers Elite Superspeedway Series at Atlanta, New Atlanta, in the Gen 4 car. I can take you through our final finishing order. See if we can make it happen. We got Kensley Smith at the top of the chart, followed very closely by Greg McConey. Andrew Teft comes in at third place, followed closely by John Connor in fourth. Fifth spot is going to go to Stoney Benfield. The sixth spot, Kirby Wainscott up 8 spots. Trevor Woodward finishes 7th where he started. Chase Greer finishes in the 8th spot. William Kelly finishing 9th. Jesse Fox will round out your top 10. Brandon Honeycutt finishing 11th to beat Truth Hoke at the line. Probably played one of the bigger parts in the outcome of this race. Truth Hoke finishing 12th. Darius Timms finishing in the 13th spot. Nathan Emerson 14th, 33 laps down. Terry Fennell 15th, 61 laps down, and Joel Brooks winning the race to the beer stand in the 16th spot. An awesome showing tonight from all of these drivers. And we will catch you next time. As you walk through the streets of life, please don't play in traffic. Good night, everyone.